The saying less is more generally applies to every time we review a Suzuki, be it an XL7, an Ertiga, an Espresso. Suzukis generally like to keep things simple, but with a touch of class to keep things interesting. This, ladies and gentlemen, however, is a little less simple and a bit more elegant. The 2025 Suzuki Dzire Hybrid. This Suzuki is a break from its more common mold, really. Rather than having a basic interior with some flair, they've really done a lot when it comes to styling, features, and the engine. Now, with all of that, you'd expect a bump in price, and there is one. So if you whip out the AutoDeal app, available on iOS and Android, then it's absolutely free. It'll let you know that the Dzire starts at 920,000 Philippine pesos and tops out at 998,000 Philippine pesos. Now, I do realize that there's more than a few people out there that are saying a million Philippine pesos for a Suzuki sedan is a bit much. Well, worry not, there are a few good reasons why. Starting with what's under the hood, it seems like you're getting less in the new Dzire. Not exactly, hear me out. It's the same as the previous engine. It's still a 1.2 liter displacement, but you have one less cylinder in this. It's a 3-cylinder. But in place of that, you have a mild hybrid system. And also, you have a CVT inside this car. So it's sort of like a 2-for-1. A 2-for-1 because while the AGS sounds good on paper, the CVT here is a hell of a lot smoother. And then with the 12-volt hybrid, mild hybrid system, fuel efficiency is absolutely great. Now, inside the city, it's already doing better than the previous Dzire. And out on the highway, much better. Because Jack and I were able to push it to about 25 kilometers per liter. Jack, did you see? There's a doggy in the frame. Hi! Hi! Hi, cutie! Sorry, we have to take a break. Hi, cute. Wait, come back. Shake. If we really want to get down to the specifics, the previous model was doing roughly about 11.2 kilometers per liter in the city, whereas Jack and I and Earl, we were able to push it to 12.2 kilometers per liter inside the city. Out on the highway, Jack and I were able to do 23.6 kilometers per liter, so already better than the previous one, which is a bit more than 20 kilometers per liter. So it seems as if that Suzuki's claim of being up to 18% more fuel efficient rings true. And that we like. We've said it before and we'll say it again. The exterior of the new Suzuki Dzire really does stand on its own, doesn't it? It's like a coming-of-age story. Huh? Now, you get LEDs up front, fogs down below, and a nice wide grille with a garnish that ties everything together. On its side, you get 15-inch alloys wrapped in 185/65 series tires, all on a generous ground clearance of 145 millimeters. Repeaters on your side mirror and a side profile that is a little stubby. It's more hatchback with a backpack than a sedan, really, as is the case with every Dzire ever. The rear is home to a set of memorable tail lamps which are finished in LEDs. Just like the front, there's a garnish on top that ties everything together. Bit of Houdini happening in the back, boot lid so tiny, yet it will reveal 378 liters of space. To its credit, it's not as big to the other sedans that you find out there, but it is quite tall because, look, overnight luggage, you can stand it in there. So yeah, lip is kind of deep, but the good thing is that the car is low, so loading heavier items, it's not really going to be an issue. First impression, very bright cabin, right? I like it. Space is decent, I guess, when you're talking about persons of my size to, okay, I'll go small to medium. That's my normal driving position. Great amount of leg room if it's my driving position, and still a decent amount of headroom above you. There is a bit of a center tunnel, little bit, but I think if a third passenger were to come into the center, Maybe for short trips it wouldn't be an issue, but yeah, I would say better off for just two passengers in the back. You do have a center armrest with two cup holders and bottle holders on either door. And mind you also, you do have an air vent. You have a Spice Girls air vent in the center. Then
Spice
you,
Girls. Why Spice Girl?
because it's two air vents that become one. Sorry, I was watching Ali G last night. Sorry, my bad. Anyway, so the one air vent that's split into two up front, and then for the rear passengers as well, you have charging points in the form of a Type A and a Type C. Hey, I like that. I thought they were both Type A's. So generally, quite a simple rear interior, which is what you would expect from a car of this size and at this price point. Large departure really from the previous model to this 2025 here. It does look a heck of a lot more elegant, and it immediately comes to your attention. The faux wood panel on the dashboard separated by the brushed metal in the middle, and then textured plastics all around the cabin. It really does feel elegant. And it's weird to say that about a car at this price point and at this size, but truly it does have a touch of class. We'll start with what's in the center. You have a 9-inch touchscreen infotainment system that has Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, works rain or shine, no problems whatsoever. It is not wireless, it is wired. Below that, you have digital air controls, hard buttons, which obviously Jack absolutely loves. Below that, you have a couple of cubby holes, tiny cubby holes, Suzuki size cubby holes, with a 12-volt socket there and a Type A port, which is how you connect to your system. You have your gear shifter and your manual park brake. Moving on to the driver's side, you have analog gauges that flank a digital trip computer in the center. Very simple, very classy. I like it. Flat bottom steering wheel, as with other Suzuki products as well. Audio controls on your left, cruise controls on your right. My type of cruise control, not Jack's type of cruise control. So meaning no adaptive cruise, but it's still there. And then controls for your phone found here. There are 3 buttons found on the left. Overall, quite simple, elegant. I like it. A point that Earl wanted to make is that the seats can be sort of like mancha magnets. They are quite bright, and having kids inside this car might not be the greatest of issues. But I will argue you can get Scotch Guard from, let's say, True Value and keep this thing nice and bright. Even the headliner.
Sorry, I don't mean to backtrack. Can we cut
Yeah.
first? When you were saying about the cubby hole, you said it's Suzuki sized, right? What did you mean by that?
Yeah, right, Earl? It's Suzuki side. It's tiny.
Oh, so does that make you a Suzuki sized person?
Let's go out for a drive, but before we do, seating position. No issues there, forward, back, up, down. The only point of contention is that the steering wheel, unfortunately, only goes up and down. It's not telescopic. I do wish that it was. And second, unfortunately, this car doesn't have speed sensing door locks. It has door lockings on the driver, but it doesn't have speed sensing, and I kind of wish that it did. So folks, let's go out on a drive, see what the CVT feels like, see about the power, if there's enough or if it's lacking. And also please subscribe to our channel because we're trying to, well, educate Earl that he need not always hang out with less than upstanding individuals. He has a knack for it.
So, like you guys?
Oh damn, I didn't think about that. That's a good comeback. Now out on the road, when you're rolling, as we are, the power is, well, not significant, but it is quite smooth. You're talking about only 80 horses and 112 newton meters of torque, which is okay, adequate for a car of this size. But I guess the big question is, you'd probably ask if we can feel the hybrid system. And truthfully, no, not so much. See, the electric motor in this car is not exactly for propulsion when you're in a standing still kind of a thing. No, it's more of an aid. It works in the background. What it does is, more often than not, it helps continue to maintain the car rolling in a very smooth manner. Now, we did mention that this car is a 3-cylinder. So if fuel efficiency is what it is that you're after, then yeah, this car does nail it because it has one less cylinder to feed. But in terms of the shaking of it, well, at a standstill when you're at a light or at low speed, you do feel somewhat of a rumble. It's not jarring, it's just something that you will definitely notice. On the flip side, however, the steering of the car is, well, it's on point really. It's quite light and it's easy when you're backing into parking slots or navigating the tight streets of the metro. And also to that, when you're out on the highway, it does tighten up. Whether you're on the highway or the twisties, you can feel it. Now, while the power figures, as I already mentioned, are not necessarily astronomical, what I will say is that in bends and in twists, it does feel kind of tight. It feels that the car is compact, composed, and you feel like you really can go through these bends. And dare I say that even down on power, it does feel a bit zippy. While we're not huge fans of CVTs, but I'm telling you, it's a heck of a lot better than most DCTs out there, it can also be quite responsive and feels like you're driving almost traditional automatic, especially when you keep it in sport. When you've calmed down a bit and just drive normally kind of a thing, the suspension is, well, par for the course really for cars of this size and at this price point. Though when we go over some bumps, we feel as if that it can get a little shaky. That's probably also because, well, we've gotten spoiled and accustomed to other cars that handle a little bit better when it comes to these potholes. I can also add that it's a possibility that you kind of feel a little bit more shaky inside this car because of the car's weight, the total weight. This being such a light vehicle, they're trying to maximize fuel efficiency, and it's such a light car going over some bumps may be a little, well, I'm not going to use the word challenging, just different. But I will say this, NVH has been remarkably improved. You will note, if you've seen it before, that the previous Dzire, we did say that it kinda is noisy on the inside. But here, in the new Dzire, the road noise is kept down low, the wind noise is also kept down low, and it allows you to enjoy this very nice cabin with a conversation with any of your passengers or enjoy the great music that comes out of the stereo system. Pretty good, pretty good. And on that note, I think one conversation that may be very, very important is the Dzire hybrid worth it? Well, on its own, the Suzuki Dzire is a respectable upgrade from its previous model. It's got, well, it's got better interior, better fuel efficiency, better tech inside the cabin and under the hood. So overall, it really is a better car. Up against its contemporaries, however, in the same price range, it will find itself in a form of an uphill battle because you've got cars like the BYD Seal 5 Dynamic, and that car comes in at about 950,000 Philippine pesos. It's got more power, more tech, and really more complexity altogether. But see, that's not how Suzuki does it. Simplicity for them is longevity. And the big question mark we have in this more and more era is, how long is it gonna last? I think the answer is simplicity, which Suzuki has doubled down on all of their hybrids, including the Dzire. So more or less is more still does apply to this car.